Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to show 195. Man, we're moving along there with yours truly, the Hippie Pastor. Well, this show, we're not going to go into any pet doctrines or pet theories, but we're going to go back. You heard it right, back to dissecting the words of Jesus Christ. I will be your dissector today of the words of Jesus Christ, the red letters in the Bible. A lot of it has been tampered with by fundamentalists, evangelical Pharisees to turn the religion, turn Christ into a religion. Christ was anti-religious. That's why the Pharisees and the Jewish synagogue leaders were so angry that they had him executed using the Italian soldiers to do so. They were very angry and upset because he was for freedom in love and freedom with God, and you don't need religion to be with God, and you don't need to be no lily white saint. You can be a sinner just like me. Now, where do we leave off for our little continuation of this? We left off, we're beginning now where we left off. Mark chapter 7, verse 34. We just read the words of Jesus, the King James Version, and then I explain the in-betweens with the true interpretation given to you free of charge by yours truly, the Hippie Pastor. Here we go. And looking up to heaven, this is verse 34 of chapter 7 in Mark. And looking up to heaven, he sighed and saith unto him, Ephphatha, that is, be opened. Be opened. Oh, so he healed this man who couldn't hear. He opened his ears and his tongue. He couldn't speak. He was deaf and dumb. So Jesus did a miracle there. He was a healer, man. This is cool. Okay, and that's it with the words of Jesus of chapter 7 of the book of Mark. And now we enter into chapter 8 of the book of Mark. And here we go. Here's Jesus. Well, to let you know the scenario, the basic general scenario at this moment. There was multitudes, and they had listening to Jesus. He was having a Jesus rock concert of his own kind, and the people didn't have food. Okay, here goes Jesus. He's talking to his disciples. I have compassion on the multitude because they have now been with me 3 days and have nothing to eat. And if I send them away fasting to their own houses, they will faint by the way, for divers of them came from far. Okay? And he asked them, his disciples, and he asked them, how many loaves have ye? And they said 7 loaves of bread. And so that's when he did the miracle of the multiplication of the loaves and the fishes. And how many fishes they had? They had some fishes. They had a few loaves, and he fed a lot of people. Right? A lot of people, a multitude. Anyway, and he sighed deeply in his spirit and said, let us continue with the words of Jesus. Jesus declarations. And he sighed deeply in his spirit and says, why does this generation seek after a sign? Verily I say unto you, there shall no sign be given unto this generation. And he left them and departed. And anyway, he was talking, then he left them, and they got on a ship, on a boat, and they left the area. And he was preaching to his disciples, giving them advice. Here goes the advice. And he charged them, saying, take heed, beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the leaven of Herod. And they reasoned with themselves, saying, is it because we have no bread? And when Jesus knew it, he saith unto them, why reason ye because ye have no bread? Perceive ye not, neither understand? Have ye your heart yet hardened? Having eyes, see ye not, and having ears, hear ye not, and do ye not remember? When I break the 5 loaves among 5,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? They say unto him, 12. And when the 7 among 4,000, how many baskets full of fragments took ye up? And they said, 7. And he said unto them, how is it that you do not understand? Okay, so the leaven, he was talking to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and of the Sadducees and of Herod, meaning the lies, the bread that they feed you, right? The government. Herod represented the government. Jesus was advising his disciples not to believe the lies of the government, the bread they feed you, and much less the lies of the religious system. You know, the bread that they feed you, the Pharisees and the Sadducees. He said, take heed and beware of what religious leadership, fundamentalists feed you. Beware of their leaven, of their bread, because they feed you lies. And the same with the government, according to Jesus Christ. You know, I'm tempted to go with the man of Galilee, with the surfer of Nazareth. I'm tempted to believe him rather than the religious leadership and any governments. Okay. Allow us to continue with the words of Jesus. And he sent him away to his house, saying, okay, so here he healed another guy, a blind man. Okay, after all that excitement, now he heals a blind man. And he sent him away to his house, saying, neither go into the town, nor tell it to any in the town. And Jesus went out and his disciples into the towns of Caesarea Philippi. And by the way, he asked his disciples, saying unto them, whom do men say that I am? So it's interesting, too, that he told the blind man not to go into the town and not to tell anybody. I guess he was on a low-key situation, Jesus Christ here, right? But he's asking his disciples, whom do men say that I am? And they answered, John the Baptist. But some say Elias, and others, one of the prophets. And he saith unto them, but whom say ye that I am? And Peter answereth and saith unto him, thou art the Christ. Beautiful, right? So Peter recognized that he was the Christ. And he charged him, he told him not to tell no man of him. And he continued teaching many things, right, and saying that he was going to suffer. And he began to teach them that the Son of Man must suffer many things and be rejected of the elders and of the chief priests and scribes and be killed. And after 3 days rise again. He had the power to rise the dead, even himself. In the flesh. He didn't rise he wasn't a ghost. He rose in the flesh. Okay. And be killed. And he spake that openly. And Peter, mind you, began to the good guy that, said that you are the Christ, that recognized that he was the Christ, he began to rebuke Jesus, to reprimand him, saying, how could you be so negative? More or less, they're going to kill you and all this stuff. So he reprimanded Jesus for saying that they were going to kill him. But when he let's continue with Jesus. But when he had turned about and looked on his disciples, he rebuked Peter. First, Peter is rebuking him for saying that the religious leaders are going to have him killed. But now, after Peter made that declaration, Jesus rebuked Peter, saying, get thee behind me, Satan, for thou savorest not the things that be of God, but the things that be of men. And when he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. And whosoever will lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. Beautiful. Okay, so there we go. Jesus giving his life and advising others to lose their life for the sake of God's kingdom of love on planet Earth. No more war.